Michelle. Nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm Jen.
What brings you in here today?
Well, gosh, there's so much. I don't even know where to start. I just am having a hard time. I just feel overwhelmed with everything. Um, I take care of my mom. I take care of my kid. I go to school for my master's. I work full time. Um, I am a wine guide, so I work a second job, and sometimes I babysit for families. So I just constantly feel like I'm scattered into a million different places. Um, but when I think about it, that's how I've been my whole entire life. I've always been doing 50,000 things at once. Um, but I just feel like I need someone to just vent to and just come up with ideas and plans to help me with different things as they come up.
Well, that's what I'm here for. What's the thing that makes you feel the most overwhelmed?
Mm, probably my own anxiety, like the thoughts in my head, the constant negative thoughts in my head.
What are some things you could say are negative, or maybe that make you feel worried? I guess.
Yeah, that's exactly
Okay.
it. Yeah, I think I'm because I all I do is worry. I worry all the time. Um, I worry like even today driving here. My son is in his dad's car driving and to go to his father's house, and I'm worried they're going to get into a car accident and my son's going to be killed. These are like the constant. If I'm when my son and I are out, I'm like so hyper vigilant that I don't let him know I'm nervous because I don't want him to be like a paranoid freak. But I am constantly like a helicopter parent because I'm petrified like someone's going to grab him and steal him and take him. Leaving the house this morning, like I heard like noise. I thought someone was in my house. So before I left for work, because my son was still sleeping and his dad was still sleeping, like I checked my entire house, like under the bed, shower, because I was like so afraid that someone came in my house, and then when I leave for work, they're gonna take my son.
When do you think you first started feeling anxious about every day-to-day things that you guys do, or that other people do with your son or family?
I think I've always been anxious. Like before my child, it was more about me and my own like obsessing about my health, which I still do. Like, oh my God, I have this bump, it's cancer, and I'm at the doctor, like, please check me. I gotta live to be 1,000 because my son's 5 and I'm 47, and like, I've always had that, but now because I have this person that I need to take care of in such a scary world, like this world just feels so like unsafe to me all the time, and I feel like I can never just feel at ease and relax. Um, so I think I've always had some level of like anxiety, but now it's put onto him. Something's gonna happen to him.
Do you think you are anxious because of the amount of stuff you have on your plate? Like you said, you've always been doing 50 million things all the time. So do you think the anxiety could drive from being so busy and not taking a second to relax?
Um, I feel like my doing constantly is my way of avoiding being quiet and in my head, because the thought of being quiet and in my like just relaxing, that freaks me out a little bit.
So you use being busy for distraction
Right.
to your anxiety. So what happens when you don't have much to do? What do you do then?
Trying to think of a time when I don't have much to do. What do I do? I don't know because I'm always doing. I guess when I have nothing to do, it's bedtime and I sleep. I don't know. Like before I had my son, I exercised a lot. I ran. went out with friends. I don't know. I don't really feel like there's really ever a time when even before my son, I worked 4 jobs. I worked and worked and worked and worked around the clock. Like, I just go, like the Energizer Bunny. Like, and if I'm not working, I have to have a plan. Like, what are we gonna do today? Are we gonna go anywhere? Let's get together. Let's go on a trip.
Would you say the feeling of not being busy makes you feel a little uncomfortable?
Yeah, and it makes me, I mean, it does to a certain extent. But like, I'm sitting here thinking, like, when I was a child, like when I was 5, I was always on the go. Like, I always can remember telling my mom, I'm so bored, this is boring. And she'd say, you're bored? I don't understand. We just went to the amusement park. You just got home. How are you bored? Or, you have all these toys. How are you bored? Like, I was always bored. Like, you kidding. Like, this is boring. I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting here.
So, have you tried to work out or go out with your friends like you used to before?
Yeah, I mean, I make time on the weekends. I've started just the last 2 weeks going back and starting to try to run again and get my stamina up to do that. I just looked into like joining a gym near me to get back into that, because I do love exercising, and that is a good way because I'm moving and doing.
Yes.
And it kind of like, it exhausts me but gives me energy at the same time.
Yeah. It's productive.
Yeah, definitely.
Productive while having your own time.
Yeah.
So while you're at the gym or out with your friends, do you feel anxious still, maybe about your son?
Yeah. More so when I'm out with my friends. I worry, well, if I know he's going to just be at home, then I'm fine. But if I know his dad's going to take him, like, to Chuck E. Cheese or something, I'm in my head, like, oh, hope they get home okay. And then if I hear sirens and I'm in my community, I'm like, oh my God, what if that's that? What if they got into a car accident? And that's how I've always been my entire life. Like, it went from like when my mom would be home from going out or whatever, and I heard sirens, like I would think something happened to her. I have to say, to my credit, I've gotten much better. Like, back then, I would when I was old enough to drive, I'd get in my car and go drive around to see, follow the route that she might take, home, to make sure she wasn't in an accident. And then I'd have like anxiety attacks where I couldn't breathe. Like, now, I don't go chasing, for the most part. I don't go like chasing the look, or I don't have anxiety attacks. It's just like thoughts.
What worries you about your son? Like, does it depend on
Death?
Does it
Death? That's what worries me.
Does it depend on who he is with, or where he is with? Like, does he have a sitter ever? Does he only stay with family?
His friends and family have babysat him. I trust mostly like anybody with him. I just worry more about like other people I don't know. Like
the what ifs.
The what ifs. Yeah. Like, I trust my friend Holly to watch him, but if I know that Holly's taking him to like bounce, I trust Holly explicitly. There's just certain people, like if my friend June was watching him at my house, I'd be okay with it. But if June was taking him to bounce, like, I'd be worried because she's not like all like a helicopter parent. Like, she might let him run off, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. And he's like, I don't know, even now at 5, I'm like, I don't see him. Like, we were just at the beach, and I'm like, I couldn't even lay for 2 minutes with my eyes closed, because the entire time, I'm like, where is he? Oh, he's over there. Okay. Like, I literally had my eyes on him the entire time.
Would you say it's more feeling anxious and worried worry versus having an attachment to your son?
What do you mean?
Like, he's your baby, you know? You have a strong bond. Do you think it's just you care for him so deeply that it's obviously an attachment and
Yeah.
that's what leads to the worry, or do you feel like it's general anxiety of what's going on at the time, what could happen?
I think it's both. I mean, I'm 47. I waited my entire life to have this human being. My only goal in life was to be a mother. There was no way in hell I was going to my grave without having a child, whether it was like via the next one night stand I could have or a sperm bank or whatever. you know, I would have had 10 kids if I could have. But I just feel like, yeah, I am very attached to him, and I'm a worrier as a person. Like, I always am at that worst case scenario. Like, if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen, and it's gonna happen to me and my family. And I mean, I can remember being like, I don't even know, 5 years, his age, 5, and my sister was 3. Like, I had anxiety that like my mom wasn't going to come out of the grocery store because back then like she'd leave us in the car and go in, and I'd be like asking my 3-year-old sister, "Where's mom? Where's mom? Do you think she's going to come out? Do you think she's going to come back? Do you think she's going to just leave us here?" Like, I always had this, like, it's a thing with abandonment always. And for me, it would be like death is a form of abandonment. Like, not that my son is going to abandon me because he wants to, but it's going to be through death that I'm going to lose him.
Have you suffered a loss or an abandonment from someone?
Well, no one like has died, but I feel like my mom, she wasn't capable of parenting when I was growing up. She had like major mental health issues, which she still does. She was like a child herself. She was 21 when she had me, and she was like so mentally ill, like very extremely depressed. She was verbally abusive. So I think like I never felt bonded to her. So I was always waiting for her to leave and abandon me. So I think that just like perpetuated in my life. And I mean, growing up, I had like the best counselor, and she was with me like from the time I was 13 until I was 21, and it really helped. That's why I feel like I don't get the anxiety attacks anymore, and I've done a lot of like soul searching, and trying to be the best I can be, because I truly don't think that my past should define who I am or my future. But I still have this like dreaded worry, and I mean, and I don't project it on my son. Like, if anything, yesterday, this is like hysterical. He's 5, and a spur of the moment, I'm like, we're going to Lake George for the day, and me and a couple friends drove up with their kids, and my 5-year-old and I went parasailing over Lake
That's
George.
amazing.
Yeah, like he's this little 5-year-old, and he was so like scared. He didn't even want to go in the boat. But we weren't even talking about parasailing. And then I was like, well, I'm going to try it. I've never done it, And we always talk about like feelings, and like it's okay to feel like nervous stomach because you're trying something new, and it's okay to do those new things and see if you like it or not. And he agreed to go on the boat, and then he said, well, if you're going to go parasailing, I guess I'll go parasailing. So he went with me, and and I'm so proud of him, because at 5, there's no way in hell my ass was going up thousands and thousands of feet. Like, I was afraid of the friggin' rain and the winds. Like, I wasn't going into parasailing anywhere. But like, I'm so proud that he, like, even though he was afraid, he did it. And I guess my point in sharing that is like, I don't project my insanity. I try so hard not to project. Like, was I shitting my pants? Yeah. Did I think that for a chance that parasail could collapse to the ground and my kid could die, and like then I just did this. I just ruined the whole thing myself. Do you know what I mean? So I still like force myself to take risks and to put myself in situations that make me feel uncomfortable, to be the better person I can be. And I try so hard not to project my insanity onto him, because I don't want him to feel like these horrible feelings of dread and worry and fear all the time. But I don't even know what the point was. What the first question was. I'm sorry.
Would you say that, I was talking about your, if you've had abandonment or a loss occur in your life, would you say that because you felt you may be abandoned by your mom or your mom wasn't around, that you put pressure on yourself to always be there for your son, so that when you're not, it throws you off and causes your anxiety?
Yeah, that's a good point. I never thought of that. That's a really good point, because I think like since he's been born, I've never spent an overnight away from him. I mean, he'll be 6 in September, and it's always been like me and him and his dad. I mean, his dad lives with us, but his dad doesn't. His dad and I are a whole nother story. We basically coexist, and I do my thing, and if dad wants to join, he can, but usually he doesn't. So it's usually just Gavin and I, which isn't healthy. Like now he's going to be 6, and like, you know, my friends are just, when we were at Lake George, they're like, oh my God, you know, August, we should just come up with the girls and do it overnight. How wonderful. And I'm already having anxiety, like, how, you know, oh my God, I got to leave Gavin. And then how's Gavin? I always like, how's Gavin going to feel about that? Well, Gavin may really not give a crap. Like maybe I'm the one who's thinking like, you know, because he does cry, like even coming here tonight, like, Mom, I don't want to stay with Dad. I really want to go with you. So I don't know.
Do you think he's also having trouble with the separation when you two are apart?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, he prefers me over his dad. He loves his dad, but I'm the more fun, you know, parent that takes you parasailing, or I don't know, like, you know,
guys
I'm always
have a deeper
like,
bond.
yeah, like we just do things like, you know, whatever. Let's try it. Let's go. You know, I take him all over. We travel, he and I together. We do things. I want him to experience life, and I think maybe I overcompensate because I was so fear-driven as a child. Like, we'd go to Playland as a kid. I would go on any rides, not even the kiddie rides. Like, I was a nervous freak. And then my sister was like, yeah, let's go, you know, and I would never, ever. And I think I overcompensate because I don't want him to feel so fearful of the world and of doing things and trying things. I want him to live life, because that's the whole purpose of life, it's meant to be lived. And, you know.
Do you feel like you ever have issues with trust? Trust of, let's say, growing up and not knowing if your mom was going to have a good day or going to stick around, and also, you know, Gavin's father. Like, do you feel like you can fully trust him or rely on him to take good care of him?
Yeah, I mean, he definitely would take good care of him. He truly is like a really good dad, and he can be very loving and nurturing to Gavin. But there's certain things about him that, like, you know, he drives so fast and weaves in and out of people, and he's very like aggressive, and he makes stupid choices like giving people the finger, and I'm like, someone's gonna pull a gun out and shoot you, and that's fine with me, but I want my kid in the car when this happens, like, or he has older children, older boys, so who've always been with me since the youngest was like 2. I just feel like he makes bad decisions in that sense. That's the piece that freaks me out. Or he'll leave Gavin in the car to run in, you know, to get something at the gas station. Like, to me, that, like, you're an idiot. Like, I'm the helicopter parent. Hello, like, you don't leave him in the car.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that gives you a feeling of worry, and knowing that he does that doesn't necessarily help.
And then I try to give Gavin the tools to feel comfortable enough to say to his dad, like, I don't like how that makes me feel being left in the car, like, you know, whatever. Because sometimes Gavin gets like, he'll say, Mom, Dad, you know, I felt nervous because blah, blah, blah. But John is such a strong disciplinarian that Gavin doesn't always feel comfortable expressing himself because he's afraid he's going to get yelled at. So I always try to like encourage him, like what words he can use, and to know that like even if Dad gets mad, it's okay for him to still say like, well, this is how I feel. I'm scared.
It's a great idea.
So
You're teaching him how to speak up and express how he's feeling. And also, would you say that your fear also has to do with how their relationship is?
like in what way?
Just, you know, you said he's not always comfortable speaking up, and
Oh, like
you know, you're the one that he stands by, and
yeah.
Mama knows best, of course, you know.
Not really. I mean, because I feel like that's okay. Like, I feel like it's okay for Gavin to feel uncomfortable. Like, because in life, he's gonna be uncomfortable. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I don't feel like I have to fix every single thing for him because there's not always gonna be a way to fix everything. And like, being uncomfortable or learning on your own or experiencing something like your parent yelling at you or you having hurt feelings is just important because shit's gonna happen, you know? Like, there's gonna be a day when I'm not here and I'm not gonna be able to say, this is what you should say, Gavin, you know? But, so it's like finding that balance, so I don't worry about that.
Funny you say find the balance. Do you think
Right.
you could try for next time having, let's say, a night out of the week where you find your balance and maybe get time to yourself away from him and work on it little by little, progressing the duration of the time you guys are apart, and also showing him it's okay to be away from Mom.
Yeah.
We're okay. Mommy's always gonna come back home
Yeah.
and be with you.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. And I actually have friends coming into town, so
See,
it'll
that's
give me a
perfect
chance,
time to
right?
bond
And they
with
have
your
old enough
friends, take a
kids, they can
break.
watch my kid and my house, and I could go out with the
Sounds
girls.
good. Well, I'm glad you came in today, and I
Thank
look forward to
you.
hearing about your night off.
Thank you.